go. So, after the run we've had, that was a very welcome 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. It just settles everybody down, doesn't it? You know, we've not performed well in the recent weeks. Nobody knows that better than I do, and Chick, and we understand that the performances haven't been good enough for the ability that we've got in the team. Ultimately, the lads have been letting themselves down. I think today we're a much better all-round performance. There's still lots of things that are not quite right, mainly through a lack of confidence from the run that you've just suggested. But harder working performance, more shape, more discipline. Took his chances at the right times, could have scored more goals, should have scored more goals, should have made it more emphatic. Difficult to play on a difficult pitch, and that's not having a go at the pitch because it's just the time of year. So we've got to factor all that in as well, and we can't play some of the free-flowing stuff that we want to try and play all the time. But I thought there were some really good spells in the game. I thought that we defended better than we've defended for a long time. And I think Elliot Owen had a large part to do with that. I thought he was a magnificent debut. And I think it's helped the other three alongside him. And yeah, we're just all round better, and like we keep saying it, you know, it's just nice to see a few smiles on people's faces. It's not been much fun for any of us these last few weeks, and you know, I've not slept well because I care, and it hurts. And the performance in the first half last week of goal was probably the worst I've ever been involved in 30 years of playing and managing at decent standards. And for me to say that really, really sticks in my throat.
Yeah.
Because I'm proud, and my standards are massively better than that. I want the players' standards to be massively better than that. But all you can do is move on to the next one. We've done that. We've reacted well. We've gone and won a game of football. It's nothing more than that. It's a great 3 points, but we've got to back it up. We've got to start the shoots of recovery, and we've got to start moving up the league, and we've got to start winning more games of football, and our performances have got to be more consistent.
I said it did look more like a Wayne Benn sort of side today. They actually were, considering, you know, what the weather's been like, what the pitch is like. They were trying to play football today, weren't they? Yeah,
and I think we picked a line-up to do that. We went a bit more attacking, if you like. We went 4-4-2, and that gave Lloyd a bit more support.
Yeah.
And I think Wade and Josh, although they didn't have much of the ball first half, I think they did quite well. And I think we just looked a little bit more lively and a little bit more of a threat, and we asked more questions of the opposing team. And I don't think anybody could have complained if we'd have come in 3-4-0 up first half. I'd have to say Charlie made a great save from a strike from the edge of the box from their boy. But other than that, can't remember them having a great deal. A bit of a scramble in the 6-yard box, but we had 3 or 4 really, really, really good chances that we should have scored. Wade, Al, Lloyd, to add to the one that we did have. Obviously there were a bit of nervousness at times to being 1-0 up, but the second goal settled us. And then you did start to see a little bit better football and a bit of better movement and a little bit of better ball retention, and it's amazing what a couple of goals and a win can do for confidence that's obviously not been very, very high of late, you know. So. Yeah. But I believe in these lads. We've obviously shuffled the pack today. We've left a couple of people out.
Well, I was going to say, you managers, you talk about freshening the lineup up, and of course today we brought in Wade Ripley, Josh Haig, and of course Owen Elliott, and then of course Lloyd Smith hasn't been playing very long, but they have seemed to today really giving the side a bit of a lift. And
even things like moving Lewis to right back and Nathan to left back, again, I think both of those have done well. We've almost had a back four of centre halves, so a couple of square pegs and round holes, but they're playing because people haven't been doing the jobs properly, and ultimately we needed to make changes. We needed to freshen it up. We needed to bring 1 or 2 more bodies into the football club, and we're still actively working on that. You know, we want 1 or 2 more in key positions, because we're not where we want to be in the league, and the standards that we set early in the season have dropped off, and there's no 2 ways about that. You know, we're not going to sit here and try and make excuses for it. We've been way below the standards that we've set for ourselves, and the lads, more importantly, that they've set for themselves. And when you do that, life becomes tough. But They're working harder in training.
Yeah.
There's been a collective effort to try and get back on track. Nobody's saying we're back on track after one win.
No, but it's green shoots.
But it's a start. That's all you can do, isn't it? You know, you react to the dross and the
Take it a game at a time.
100%. It's all cliches. You know, you can trot a million out, but hopefully, you see it a million times. Hopefully, one win leads to 2 wins quite quickly, and then obviously the confidence starts to grow, momentum starts to build, and quite quickly you can start moving back up through the leagues. And it's a long season, and for anybody who are panicking, and I think there has been a bit of panic, both inside and outside.
We were never panicking.
Both. I genuinely feel I need to say it, both inside and outside.
In Benn and Haywood we trust.
Well, I felt a little bit of a difference in certain people, both inside and outside the football club, which is a part of football, and it's the fickleness of football management, I suppose. But I think I feel like I have to mention it because I think a few people have panicked and said some things very, very early in the season. It's not where we are in November that counts, it's where we are in April. Yeah. And I guarantee you that in April we'll be in a much healthier position. The club will be in a healthier position. There'll be things in place for this club to start to go forward and move forward, and we can start to look at recruitment earlier this season. We can start to look at bringing 1 or 2 bodies into the and just get our pre-season plans in place before the season even finishes, which will make a massive difference instead of playing catch up like we've had to this season. You know, so myself and Chick never stopped believing in our ability. We've had to question a few of the boys, and we've brought players in, and people have been left out, and people have been dropped, and that's inevitable in these kind of situations.
Football.
but we've always retained belief in ourselves. Like I said, I think there's been some things and some a little bit of panic, which is crazy. But I understand it. I understand the nervousness of it after a season like you had last season.
Yeah.
So I get it. But like I said, I believe in these players. We've already seen it a million times. We've seen it in several games, not just 1 or 2. We've seen it in a lot of games against the better teams that we're a match for anybody. When we play properly, when we can get our strongest 11 on the pitch, we're a match for anybody. And it's high time that that Frickley Athletic turned up on a more consistent basis than certainly what we've been given all this last 5 or 6 weeks. So onwards and upwards. Nobody's getting carried away. Of course, we want to enjoy today. We want the fans to enjoy today. But still, and I said this from minute 1, there's still a lot of hard work and there's a lot of patience required to get this club back where we all want it to be.
So should be a belter next week at Garforth then.
Again, you know, listen, they're in flying form. I don't know what the result is today, but you know, since we played against them, they've gone on a really good run. That's another game that we should have won. Another game where we were superior. Yeah. Another game where we dominated possession. Another game where the managers are happy to get out with a 0-0 because it should have been a Frickley win. So we won't be going there with any fear, but we understand they're in a better place mentally and because of the run that they've been on. So it'll be tough. But again, I'll go back to it. I believe in that changing room. I believe in the quality that's in that changing room. There's things that we've got to do. We've got to work hard, and we've got to get that consistency. But today's a decent start.
I think you said it all there, Gaffer. Can't wait for next week now. Brilliant. Thanks for that.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks.